Scanning for audio.
Welcome to the new Tin Dog Podcast, number 91. This time I'm going to be covering Planet of the Dead. Well, it's been a while since it was on TV and the DVD's just come out. So now that the dust has settled and the immediate reaction has faded away, we can look at it more objectively. Well, at least I'll try to. But before I start reviewing this latest instalment of the 10th Doctor's Time, I just want to thank everyone who emailed me saying how much they enjoy the Big Finish reviews I've been doing of late, so they really aren't going to end or fade away. I will, of course, try to keep those shows more boxed together, but enough of that sort of nonsense. Planet of the Dead. I know from some of the feedback I've been receiving that a lot of you enjoyed my time reviewing this show immediately after it had been on as part of the WhoCast. I hope to be able to return to WhoCast in future and help out on those immediate reaction shows whenever Doctor Who airs. But as the next show isn't on until November-ish, and you just know that I'm holding out for my October the 31st, which happens to be a Saturday, Halloween scary Doctor Who story to watch the waters of Mars, slightly more than most people. Well, that's fine. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to give a slightly more reasoned opinion. And to be honest, my opinion still kind of sticks the same. It's a decent enough story, and if it was part of a main season, I would have no true issues with it. The story, of course, has holes which occur to you in the following hours, where you go, hang on, why didn't they just push the TARDIS through the wormhole and thus allow them to escape, especially if they knew where it was? The Doctor could have told them where it was on the phone. Yeah, these things, well, you know, it's usually best if we don't think about them. I mean, it's not as if the Doctor's meant to be some sort of hyper-intelligent alien. Another gripe with the story, and trust me, they're just small gripes, is the low-level psychic woman. Now, apparently there's a new system for sorting out psychics, and it's called the Lotto system. If someone is capable of predicting 3 numbers every week, they're low-level psychics, similar to perhaps the Ood. It doesn't allow them to be psychic enough to know not to get on a bus going to another world. It allows them to talk in a strange, spooky manner. Again, it doesn't actually prevent them from getting themselves into danger. There are, of course, much higher levels of psychics, who I'm sure could predict, say, 4 lottery numbers every week, but surely Camelot would notice such a thing. And perhaps that's only the Saturday draw, rather than the Saturday and the Wednesday. What you could do, of course, is concentrate really hard, and manage to come out with, say, the Euro Billions lottery, or whatever it's called these days. Have I drifted? I guess I have. Moving on. My biggest gripe, by far in this story, of course, is Lady What's-Her-Face. Bionic Woman. Yeah, I know she'll always be a Slater to me, and that's my problem. I still can't help myself from pigeonholing people. She'll always be a Slater to me. She won't even truly be the Bionic Woman. I wasn't taken with her performance. I really wasn't taken with her character. And she just kind of jarred a little bit. She annoyed me. I know that in the original plans for Doctor Who, when the 7th Doctor became the 8th Doctor, and this is part of the original run, this would happen, say, the early 90s. The plans were to have Ace leave the Doctor and become a trainee Time Lord. Again, Time Lord being a rank rather than a race. Yeah, we don't need to go there. And then the next companion would be, played by Julia Sawalha, well, she was penciled in anyway, who would be a cat burglar. Many of the traits seem to have survived over from the original treatment for this particular character. I'm not sure that would work. I'm not sure it wouldn't work. But that's fine. Questions will still arise when it comes to things like, why were Unit called rather than Torchwood if you're trying to push the new Torchwood spin-off series, the mini-series, The Children of Smurfs or something? I'm not quite sure what it's called. I know it's on at some point. Possibly when some people are leaving the country in order to climb mountains, but perhaps not.
Stephen? We are coming. We are coming. We are coming.
I'm recording this in case anyone ever finds it, so you can see. You can see how the world ended.
Every child has stopped. Every single child in the world.
But they just stopped.
Every other child stopped at the same time, and not just in Britain. Reports come in Norway, Sweden, India, Egypt, Bosnia, Tokyo, Singapore.
We are coming.
Oh my God. So far, we're the only ones with the software clever enough to piece this all together. Well, us and Torchwood.
Target 1's eliminated. 2 and 3 have escaped, but we're in pursuit.
Who do you work for?
A man who can't die has got nothing to fear. So you watch it. And you keep watching.
Either we go to war against an enemy we can't beat, or we go to war against our own people for their own good.
They're coming!
I think you've seen aliens too.
But they're coming back.
We are coming.
But this is what we do. We deal with things like this.
Please.
It's happening. Come on.
Right now, you lot need us. The whole world needs us. We can help.
Oh, and what was with that end sequence where the Doctor tries to push the 2 guys from the bus who happen to have lost their jobs, let's face it, it's a credit crunch, and make them join UNIT? Does he not remember what happens to the ordinary soldiers of UNIT? Was he just not paying attention? Well, actually, he probably wasn't paying attention, but we can leave that there. Would you really want to join UNIT when you know how much danger you could be in, and that they may not even have a body to bury at some point? And to me, that reflects what's going on in this story. It's the beginning of the crystallization of the Doctor's psychosis. The worse it gets, the more he enjoys it. That's not normal. That's not good. That's the sort of thing that leads to, well, a regeneration at Christmas. The Doctor is slightly unbalanced, and not in a fun and good way. And that has an effect on the moral coding of this story. I know I've said this elsewhere, but I really do have issues with the only people who are trying to get on with their job are being the ones who get killed. The bus driver and the Tritivores, ordinary civil servants, all just trying to get on with their jobs, get on with their lives. Strange things happen and they end up dead. And yet, everyone's cheering and clapping as Lady What's-Her-Face flies off. Now, sorry, I know I just got so annoyed at this because a flying bus unit does not have anti-gravity technology. They'd kind of like it. Oh look, a jewel thief's escaping. Why don't we shoot it down and steal the technology? Not steal it, reclaim it, use it. Standing around and clapping probably is a court-martialable offence. I know the Doctor was meant to have stolen the TARDIS in the first place, and my theories about the Doctor's true origins and that have been well recorded elsewhere in podcasts, so I don't really need to go on about that now, because let's face it, they're just my own firm-held fan beliefs. They're hardly canon. But the Doctor, to me, here is behaving slightly out of character. I'm sure there are more other things to cover here, so I'll move on. There are the big stingray monsters. I know they're just a force of nature, but how could something like that evolve? Questions like that keep coming up in stories like this. It's a worry of the highest order. Well, not the highest order, let's face it, it's only a TV show. Yeah, right. But you can see my point. I don't know how these creatures could have come into existence. Things that can travel from world to world, scouring them. They must have a different origin. Some creatures like this that can devour a whole world in 4 years are too dangerous to exist in an ecosystem because they destroy everything. So are these monsters, creatures, or an alien race? I guess we'll just have to go with monsters. As I've said elsewhere, the ending of this should have been the flying bus coming through the wormhole, bouncing along the ground where the flying bit didn't work on Earth because of something technical, and then the wormhole shutting down, slicing one of the creatures in two. As another one came through, you get to see a really nice sliced effect, and let's face it, that effect's just been used on Fringe. My God, I've loved this series of Fringe, but that's probably for a different podcast. Has anyone else really, really loved that series? It started off as a dodgy X-Files rip-off, and it's just gone some great new places. I so hope that gets more seasons. It's just great. That closing shot of that last episode was just... yeah, I really have rambled and I'm sorry about that.
I detect another mine.
Is your name, or anything else for that matter, do you want to catch up on a few cons with guests such as Colin Baker, Tom Baker,
That's not the doctor, that's the vet.
and you'll even hear a song or two from Fraser Hines and Sophie Aldred.
They all say who is Doctor Who? Where is he from? What does he do?
Unless it is because your face is jammy.
So that's Tim's take on at tto.mypodcast.com. If your name's David or not.
The other mind has now left the Matrix.
So, the DVD. What do you get on it? Well, it's just the episode that was broadcast and the Doctor Who Confidential that was also broadcast. Things you could have just taped off the TV. It's a fairly vanilla thing, but you do get an hour's worth of Confidential, which I'm not sure you're going to get on the boxed set that'll come out at the end of the year. I've told you my theory in the past about how 2Entertain might try and release a DVD at the same time as one of the episodes that people aren't quite sure what they're buying. If, say, the dubious auntie's gone in to buy stuff and they just ask someone at the counter, or they read the back of the box. So what would exist in this Doctor Who on a boxed set? Well, it could include Midnight, Planet of the Dead, and Delta and the Bannermen. Delta and the Bannermen I'm going to be covering next week, as the DVD's due out very, very shortly. Here's the trailer.
Where you go, I will track you down.
1959! Here we come!
I don't like the look of this one little bit. Turn back.
You must warn the others that an attack is imminent.
There is nowhere you can hide.
The Bannermen are on their way.
Hey! Oh, Griffin! Handle them all! Fisherman! I'm finished!
Give me Delta, and I will give you your life. Actually, I think I may have gone a little too far.
The Confidential isn't really that good, because there aren't that many stories connected with it. It's an hour long, and 45 minutes of that basically consist of, we went to Dubai. Did I mention we went to Dubai? Yeah, we went to Dubai. It was really nice. There was some sand. Did you see the sand? We got it in high definition. We used some nice cameras in high definition. Oh, by the way, high def doesn't do slow motion very well. But it will. But not yet. Dubai. Yeah. Was that a dodgy tax fiddle, or just some excuse to use some sand? It was so beautiful and so perfect on film that it really did look like it had been done by the mill. Most viewers wouldn't care. I haven't seen the episode in high def yet, so perhaps I'll be a complete convert, but it still looks pretty damn good on DVD. Before I stop talking about this story, and trust me, I'm kind of sure you want me to, I just want to mention Lee Evans' performance. I'm a big fan of Lee Evans. He's a very, very good actor. His stand-up work is definitely an acquired taste. I would suggest tracking some down, missing out the first 10 minutes where it's very hyper because the guy suffers from stage fright, and then watching the rest. It's well observed and well performed. The guy's done some very, very good work. I would recommend a film, The Martins, where him and Kathy Burke do some great acting. But here, he adopted one of his father's accents. Let's face it, he's called Lee Evans, so being Welsh probably will be alright. A variant on a Fourth Doctor's scarf, and he becomes the fanboy. Similarly narratively to the way Donna was, a fan of the Doctor. He stands up, just like Pertwee's Doctor did, to the Brigadier. Moments of his performance are very, very good. If he does return, he needs to calm down just a little bit, which is fine. I'm not quite sure about him using Bernards as a unit of measurement, mainly because the British Rocket Group was mentioned in one of the old McCoy Dalek stories, which means that Bernard Quatermass and the Rocket Group exist in one Doctor Who universe, while in the current Doctor Who universe, Bernard Quatermass is fiction. Or perhaps he's not. Does it really matter? Or is it just something for the fans? Actually, now I come to think about it, the way it's delivered, Quatermass could just be somebody famous who was real in the Doctor Who universe. Perhaps I need a cup of tea or a nice lie down. Yeah, that's probably more like it. I know I mentioned it last time, but I just wanted to say hello to everyone that I'd seen at the Fab Cafe. The event itself was very, very good. I know I didn't stay for the entire time, but what I did experience, the Colin Baker talk, the Big Finish, the end of the Big Finish talk, and Fraser Hines, as well as Mark Strickson, were all very, very good. Dave AC's done an extremely good report as part of Podshock 149, which does things in a lot more depth than I could manage here. It wasn't as badly organised as everyone seems to be making out. I've been to considerably worse conventions, and considerably worse organised ones. People complained about the hour of sitting around. Well, that just gave Doctor Who fans a chance to chat and talk, and trust me, it's something we're very good at. It was great to finally get to meet Dave AC and, well, like I said, the cool kids from Tachyon TV, Chris, the tallest man on Earth, from Radio Free Skaro, and more about him in a moment because I have a Whostrology in line for him, Tim Drury, Chris Ellis, the shadowy figure behind so many podcasts. It's incredible how many people he knows. Does he just collect them? Cathode Ray and Capricorn One, all from the forums. It was really nice to finally meet these people. Steve Hatcher from Hoovers really does need a specific mention at this point, because on September the 6th, in Derby, he's hosting a one-day Doctor Who convention, and I know that Dave AC, James from Podshock, as well as myself, some people from the Staggering Stories podcast, and Paul and Marty from the WhoCast are all going to be part of the podcasting panel with a guest list like that, just for people who are fans. I suspect there may be more people behind the desks than on the other side in the audience, but let's face it, I'm sure we can all try and be slightly entertaining if you do turn up. It's going to be held at the Midland Railway Centre. That's a Sunday convention. At the minute, the Colin Baker has agreed to go, and I'm sure there are many others on their way. They're all going to be on the updated website, which is Hoovers, spelled with a W. Let's face it, we're Doctor Who fans, we know how to spell Who. Hoovers.org.uk. Go there, and the latest information will be up there. And if you do go, I'll be the guy wearing the Tin Dog Podcast t-shirt, and just come over and say hello. It was really nice to meet Chris from Radio Free Skaro, and for some time I've had this request from him for a Whostrology reading. Chris is by far the tallest man on Earth, but I'm sure I've mentioned that. Born on January the 24th, Chris's birthday coincides with Spearhead from Space, Part 4, Brain of Morbius, Part 4, and Warrior's Gate. Maybe it's time to take that new job offer a little bit more seriously than you thought. Your new acquaintances could become friends. You must. Fireworks could solve a friend's plumbing problem after less than a bland day. And why not take this chance to look at some black and white images of gardens before saying some fond farewells? So there you go, Chris, one Whostrology. Now, if you'd like your own Whostrology reading, possibly on a very nice certificate, I've created a small eBay store. If you just go to eBay and type in Whostrology and send me your birthday, I'll create you a very specific and personal Whostrology reading, which will then be posted out, all on a very nice certificate. And with that, I'll draw an end to this specific Tin Dog podcast. So until next time, be seeing you. You have been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Contact us at tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. And now, number one in our increasingly small list of nursery rhymes to sing to children, based on Doctor Who. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the wormhole. The wheels on the bus get stuck in sand, stuck in sand, stuck in sand. The wheels on the bus get stuck in sand, all through the wormhole. The wheels on the bus, they levitate, levitate, levitate. The wheels on the bus, they levitate, all through the wormhole. The wheels on the bus are stolen by a thief, stolen by a thief, stolen by a thief. The wheels on the bus are stolen by a thief, once through the wormhole. Thank you very much.